John Cena's back. That's right, your little brother's watching wrestling again. Sportskeeda Wrestling, everybody. It is Kevin. We have a lot to talk about. The most popular wrestler of his generation is back in WWE. Where is this going? What are the latest plans for WWE out of one of the most well-received WWE pay-per-views in years? We'll get into all of it on today's Sportskeeda Wrestling top story of the day. Hit that like button, baby. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. What's up, everybody? I'm Kev Kellam. Follow me on the Twitter machine at Kev Kellam. You can follow at Jose G at Jose_G_official. I don't know why I said that. There's so much to get into. If you have not checked it out, our Money in the Bank post show is up. Thank you to the over 28,000 people that have checked out that show in the less than the last 24 hours. Thank you so much. It is available on Facebook, YouTube. A lot of people saw it on Facebook. That's pretty cool, too. But we have a ton of content on our YouTube channel that is exclusive there, including interviews just this past week. Our Inside Cradle, our 90-minute exclusive deep dive show is there as well. With Natalia and Nikki Ash, the new Miss Money in the Bank. We have that interview up as well. And you can get all of this in podcast form over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So plug. John Cena's back, dude. John Cena. I'm
excited, dude. Last night was a great show. We had an awesome weekend with all the exclusive content that we did. We had our trivia challenge and we had our watch along, dude. I had a great time this weekend doing stuff with you and Jeremy.
I think this is one of the more where there's just an overwhelming amount of positivity, and the people that are yelling about, oh, they didn't do this or they didn't do that and I didn't get that, they got caught. I know this is something where I'm always the super overly positive guy, but I think this is just a universally well-received show. There are people I know that have not watched wrestling in a long time that were texting me today. This was one of those days where I got the same way where if you were in the wrestling bubble in 2011 when The Rock came back, I went into work that day and people were asking me, hey, you're the wrestling guy. The Rock came back, right? And then when people come out of it, and Cena is that guy who transcends wrestling to a degree, but also means a lot to hardcore fans. I mean, obviously you and I are in our 30s, but if someone's 10 years younger than us, he's the Hogan. He's the millennial Hulk Hogan. I mean that in the best way. Coming out, ending what is already an awesome show, in front of the first big arena show in front of fans, and that alone is special. But that pop last night when he came out after Roman beat Edge, chills, dude. Chills.
The entire build, you could hear the entire building buzz. I got goosebumps from where I was in Orlando. It was great to hear that roar of the crowd last night. And John Cena is going to be sticking around for a little bit. He's going to be hanging around. It's not just last night, but tonight also on Raw. He's opening up Raw. Not only that he's opening up Raw, but Fightful Select is reporting that Cena is considered a free agent in WWE, and he will be appearing on Raw and on SmackDown. Apparently, Cena's return to Money in the Bank was a poorly kept secret backstage last night. He wasn't supposed to be there, but it happened. But this is great, dude, because this means the ratings are going to go up for both USA and Fox. This is just great all around because Cena, like him or not, if you have to recognize what he is, he is definitely one of the greatest of all time.
And look, put it this way, in terms of the way a WWE pay-per-view is consumed, this one is wildly different. I want to know what the Google Analytics was on topics to it overall. Usually on a WWE pay-per-view, it'll trend well into the AM hours. But by the time you get to Monday morning, it's not in the top 20 on Twitter. And I tend to just go back to Twitter. I looked at some Google trends. It was of the top 20 Google trends. That's all of Google. It's a huge search engine optimization. WWE related topics were more than 5 or 8 of the top 20. All right. And at one point were 7 of the top 20 trending terms on Twitter well past 4 a.m. I was working this morning, really in the morning doing radio stuff. And I was like, that's incredible. incredible. That is a deep amount of people that are waking up and finding out about that show. And mind you, there were some bad news out of last night, but I don't think that had anything to do with the wrestling show. We're not bothering you if you were following the show last night. We have people like this signing this in, like Asuma saying WWE premium account lifetime number. He's hawking his stuff. Whatever. Don't click on his dumb links. But we already have people sending stuff in like that because last night there was the Peacock issue. All right.
Oh my God. Huge.
So even on any other night, if John's any other night, that would be the number one story. There was streaming issues for the WWE pay-per-view. I'm lining up with how big of a deal I think the John Cena return trumps. God bless everybody who went out there and had a great show. He's the talking point. He is the talking point. He immediately ended the show. He told everyone he's going to be back. He comes back there. They immediately have him cut a promo saying, I'm going to be on Monday at Raw. You saw a very, very sharp increase on SmackDown's ratings with the live audience. Massive increase, like significant number. I don't have the exact number in me, but I know looking at it like over the weekend, they were saying that it's going to come in pretty strong. What are those ratings going to be? Richard is saying it here too. Ratings for Raw going up. Not much, but could be wrong. We'll see. I'm not saying it's going to be a massive increase. People are expecting.
Yeah, it may not be a bunch. I mean, it may be as much as 500,000, $500,000, but that's still something. That's still an increase.
Mm-hmm. Wallace Lang texting saying John Cena is the most liked and most hated wrestler of the current era. That means he's the most over. Like think about that. That means he's the most over in that same regard. And the other people predicting other returns and other big plans. John Cena's back. It looks like we get Reigns versus Cena at SummerSlam. That's the way everything's been going for the last few months now.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I mean, and not only with this John Cena story with him coming and returning yesterday, but it looks like WWE is going to be continuing to ride that wave of buzz that they had this weekend with the fans returning. WrestleVotes reported and actually put out a tweet today that he actually talked to a few sources, and it seems that WWE feels like they can absolutely keep the energy and momentum created for this past weekend all the way through SummerSlam. That's 5 weeks. Can they do big stuff every episode, Raw and SmackDown, for the next 5 weeks, Kevin? What do you think?
It felt like they did a bunch of big things last night. I mean, we're just talking about Cena, right? The stuff with Edge and Roman was fantastic. Did we know, if you were a hardcore fan week to week and you were doing this, did you feel Reigns was going to keep the title? Yeah. But did they get you to believe that Edge could win? Yes, they did. And that's why that match was super successful with all the bells and whistles, the run-ins, the Usos being prevented from interfering, the delayed Rollins interference. It was overcooked. It was just overcooked. And if they did this in front of any other crowd, any other night, it worked just because they were doing it all. Hey, reminding live crowds, remember what it's like when there's a run-in. Remember what it's like when there's a referee bump. Remember when, and you were just kind of like re-jogging the memory. It's like, yeah. Oh, it was like Thanksgiving where you're tasting all these foods that your grandmother had that you haven't eaten since last Thanksgiving. That's what it felt like. And they, all of the good energy from the crowd just made everything mean that much more. That match kicked ass. Big E is now in line to ascend. If you're a hardcore week-to-week fan, you love him. I know people not as excited about the Nikki Ash one. Nikki almost a superhero, but that was a surprise. You did not expect that coming. No. You did not knew you were getting that.
And just the way that she went up throughout, everybody's fighting around her, and she just finds a way up to the briefcase, takes it off, and she won. Like nobody, I didn't expect that. Like that was just so weird how they ended up doing that. But hey,
can you keep this momentum? Can you keep this momentum going? Yes. Think of how many other people that they can give those proverbial roses to that you love, that have been kicking ass through the pandemic and make something happen. They're going to try and do it with Drew McIntyre, and it's not going to be a title. It's going to be him and Jinder. They're going to bring Jinder up, right? They're going to try and do something with Big E. Big E's now in a position to threaten world champions. Think about that. So that people love upheaval. They love when a guy comes up and knocks somebody off their pedestal. John Cena certainly did that, and it was Roman Reigns, right? And that's a mega match on its own. Think about this. For SummerSlam right now, 5 weeks away, you have a build of John Cena promos on both
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown and Raw to build to. All right. You have Edge and Rollins. Edge is pissed. Edge is best when he has a personal issue to go after someone with, and he has one now with Seth freaking Rollins. You have those two matches. Moving on to Monday Night Raw, Goldberg. All right. So let's talk about the Goldberg issue. It has been reported, and we covered it as well, widely reported, that Bill Goldberg will return either tonight or sometime this week with WWE. All indications are that he could be there tonight. Don't quote us on that. There is no confirmation that he's going to be on Raw tonight. But it seemed very likely after Bobby Lashley's dominating victory over Kofi Kingston, that one-handed spine buster.
I'm still feeling it.
He reached into Kofi Kingston's soul and said, "I'm going to hold this for a second, but I'm also going to take you with all of it and put you down." It was brutal. Brutal.
I don't know if you follow this guy on Instagram. His name's he goes by the handle of Ojonod. That's OJONOD, and he does all these like anime versions of what's going on with Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and it's just absolute perfection. It is comedic. It's great. Check him out, Ojonod1 on Instagram. It's just really funny stuff. You should really check it out, Kevin. You'll like it. I'll send you some stuff.
Definitely, man. Send me some stuff. Drop some links in the chat too after we're here live. Jamie saying Bobby Lashley today said, "Who's next?" on Twitter. Dominating victory. Then he says, "Who's next?" It's Goldberg's catchphrase. It makes itself. WWE's a living action movie, right? It's over the top. It makes complete sense. With everything else they already set out with SummerSlam, Lashley versus Goldberg, is that a letdown? Obviously, people wanted Lesnar. They can still do Lesnar. For everyone who's like mad that this Lashley-Lesnar match that has been talked about, we've interviewed Lashley about it. You know, it's been talked about. They never flat out said on television Lashley wants Lesnar. They brought up his name.
Well, you know what's hilarious about this whole thing too, because Matt Riddle was on a special episode of The Bump on Sunday, and they were interviewing Riddle, and he's like super excited, and the lighting makes him look like he's extra baked. So he's just sitting down, and he's like, "Yeah, bro," and with all these rumors of Goldberg coming back tomorrow. And like the entire staff of The Bump, yes, they opened up their eyes.
I'm sorry. If Goldberg comes back and we get a Matt Riddle Goldberg scenario, you want to talk about internet clickbaity like catnip? That is some gold right there. I think I'd be into it here.
It was great. The reaction of the cast was great.
Now, here's the problem. This isn't the Thunderdome. You're not controlling the reactions that some people are getting. Like, Drew got a positive reaction, but there were some people that are like, "Hey, I'm sick of Drew, boo, boo," like that type of thing. And that's okay. Like, you know what I mean? No one's quiet, right? If you come out now, and a lot of fans haven't seen you for a year and a half, and they're quiet, that's bad, right? That's really bad. If you come out and there's nothing, that's not great. Our very own Jeremy Bennett says, "Can or will Vince?" Who's Vince? Can or will WWE make Goldberg a heel? No one is excited for him. They're gonna boo. Well, here's the thing: they're not gonna be quiet. Like, as I mentioned, I don't think they're gonna be quiet.
Oh no!
I think Goldberg can embrace both. I think he's a big enough guy where he can kind of roll with it. But are they going to cheer Bobby Lashley, who is, for all intents and purposes, also a heel? There is an attraction in two big giant guys that are very, very powerful, clacking horns. But who do I root for? Where does this go? Does this get lost in the mix? Do those other two big matches? And we haven't even touched on the women yet.
Exactly.
They haven't even pulled the trigger on Becky Lynch. So we know that's there. So there's also that. So it's definitely interesting here. Then you also have guys we haven't seen in a long time, like Keith Lee. This would be a big, big time to see a Keith Lee coming back.
Oh, so man,
if they do a Goldberg, which is for the casual fan, the lapsed fan that's coming back in, and if you didn't think the lapsed fan was coming back in, John Cena came back last night, and they ran a bunch of. Did you know they recap things that you week-to-week fans are already very, very well aware of that happened 5 or 6 months ago, or what happened at WrestleMania? You want to know
they
did
a
that?
Good job with that. I think they really did a really good job
because they know people are watching for the first time in a long time. They're coming back to it, right? And they're treating it like a hard reboot. Fans who are annoyed by all those replays and stuff like that, let that happen. What they're trying to do is make your buddy who said he wanted to stop watching wrestling last year hop back
Here,
in.
this is what happened in the last 6 months. Boom.
Exactly. That's what it's
Great.
for.
I thought it was great. I thought it was good.
You can play both sides of the aisle. WWE's done it before. Shout out to people watching from Zambia. That's pretty cool. If you're watching for the first time, let us know what's going on here. This is Howard saying, watching from Zambia, if Cena fails to dethrone Roman, what's next? Oh, maybe is it Goldberg? Yeah, I don't know there. We'll see what happens. It'll certainly be interesting. Yeah, all signs point towards John Cena, Roman Reigns, the top storyline going into this year's SummerSlam.
Now, Kevin, let's talk about some more big things because not only we talked about the return, the big things planned in the next 5 weeks. But with those big things planned, we also have a little bit of a shakeup going on with one Raw superstar, Naomi. Mm-hmm. Naomi is being reported by PW Insider that she is moving over to the SmackDown side. It looks like this happened over between yesterday and today. I don't know exactly why this happened, but this is probably going to make things logistically more stable between Jimmy and Naomi, don't you think?
Maybe that was part of the decision.
Maybe that was part of the decision. Now that he's the champ after being pulled over, like it happened last time.
That was another controversial thing is the Usos are once again the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and yet again this somehow lines up with Jimmy Uso having
what kind of message does that send though?
To the locker room, I don't know what message that sends to some people, but also it looks like the Usos are tied to a very big match with The Rock in the next 8 to 9 months.
And they don't want to jeopardize that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some very big speculative points here. Also, we don't know how severe these charges are. We know they're there, but are they minor traffic charges? They're probably not, So I mean, like we know enough to know that this is bad. So
I know he paid $500 bail. So I mean,
you don't pay bail unless you got arrested. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's weird. I don't know what side it says, but here's the thing: Uso still had a good match. If they're going to ignore it, it's not like these guys didn't come out here and tear it up. And now they have something with the Mysterios. It's pretty serious. Also, they kind of alluded to the DUI on the pay-per-view last night.
I didn't catch that.
They did. They won the belts, and they won the belts from the Mysterios on the kickoff, and they wanted to tell Roman, like, Roman, look what we did for the family. We did this for you. We won the tag belts for you.
Yeah.
And now we're all going to kiss your ass, and I acknowledge you, Roman, but me and my brother also acknowledge you. And he goes, that's good. But is that it? Especially from you. Yeah, he did that. It was just enough. WWE's done these things where they acknowledge, some stuff in some slight ways, but it'll be interesting. Now, Naomi being over on SmackDown, I think it makes sense. They need shake up with the women. I think
she's a better fit for SmackDown, actually, and I think SmackDown can use someone like Naomi on that side. I think Naomi versus Bianca Belair is a good matchup that we can see. They're both tremendously athletic.
They've done Naomi and Carmella before, but yeah. Naomi and Bianca would be interesting. That'd be a hot.
Yeah, it would be a good matchup. I think it would be a good matchup.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it here. Sound off. Are you excited for WWE in the weeks ahead? It seems like there's a lot of it. We do have some exciting AEW news. They sold over 15,000 tickets and will have the biggest crowd they've ever had at Arthur Ashe Stadium coming up in August. Just a short time around SummerSlam, and in the eyes of the shadow of New York City, they'll run the Greater New York market within 2 weeks. They'll run it. They're Newark, New Jersey. They're going to do over 10,000 there, and they'll do probably 17,000, their biggest crowd yet, at Arthur Ashe Stadium. That is a stadium show, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with AEW. The good vibes for them continue. All Elite Wrestling announcing tickets on sale for September in John Cena's hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio. So big vibes for All Elite Wrestling. A lot of momentum. Fans are coming back.
You mean John Moxley?
Yes, John Moxley. I'm saying wrestling in general.
No, because you said John Cena's from Cincinnati. He's from.
Oh yeah, no. Yes, it's John Cena's little brother, John Moxley. I said the name John Cena 15 times.
That's what I said, David. That's what I said.
I said it, and I stand by it.
Listen, we're getting a lot of good reactions here in the comment section. Some people are going for Nikki Ash to possibly cash in her Money in the Bank tonight. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, you want to shake some things up, you want to tease some stuff. I think you tease it for a while. I think you simmer the pot. You got to build out that whole card. It's a 3-hour show. You give it away. That's how many more 3-hour shows before SummerSlam can you not do that cash in or build to it or make it matter? And I don't think you have to give everything away. That's another thing is it's very short-sighted to do all this like right away, guys. They're gonna do Goldberg. John Cena's gonna be on the show tonight for Raw. That's a lot right there. So, and guess what? Somebody's going to come out and have a banger match too. So I think tonight's Raw will be quite good. And if you're not watching it live, definitely, catch on the replay.
It's a highly anticipated one tonight. Yeah.
There's people I know that are going to watch Raw this week that haven't watched Raw in a long time.
Even viewers from South Africa, like Fano Sun Mashavis, watching from South Africa, waiting for Raw. So it's a highly anticipated Raw tonight, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us where you guys are watching from if you're watching on demand. If you're with us on Facebook, go ahead and hit that like button. It matters as well. Get your comments in there. If you're with us on YouTube, thank you so much. Turn those reminders on. Subscribe to the channel. Tonight, we will have Vince Russo reviewing Monday Night Raw. Vince Russo also did a Writing with Russo, which is up on our YouTube channel, where he is not too fond of this Drew McIntyre Jinder Mahal program and where it's going. All right, so he will review Raw with all of its brutality. Robert Ewing is watching from Cincinnati, Ohio. You're going to get yourself some AEW tickets, Robert. Also, moving ahead Friday nights after SmackDown, Dutch Mantell, the legendary Dirty Dutch Mantell, former creative head for TNA, manager on WWE television, a Hall of Famer in his own right. He has a take every week on SmackDown. Jose has the debrief every Wednesday night, covering AEW and NXT. And of course, you can catch me here Monday through Friday with the top story right around 5 p.m. Central. So much to get into. And you can also download that as a podcast in your ears. Charlotte, North Carolina is watching in the chat. Woo!
Woo! 14 time, baby.
There you go. Thank you guys so much for checking out the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Hope you had a good time. Did you like it? Share it in your wrestling groups. All right. We'll shout out all your Smarky Mark buddies. We'll shout out Smarky Mark and the Funky Bunch. We'll get them all. We'll get them all in there.
We're going to send them some good vibrations.
Yes, absolutely. What do you got going on, bud?
Tonight I'm just going to be watching some Raw. Going to record tomorrow's news roundup. Then we got the top story tomorrow. And then we got Weekends of Wrestling on Thursday at 8 p.m. So make sure you check that out on YouTube, here on Facebook as well.
I got plenty going on. You can hear me on the radio on 104.9 The X in Rockford, but you can stream that anywhere in the world on the TuneIn app. The links are over on my Twitter at Kev Kellam. I will be live at Detour Brewing this Saturday night in Rockford, Illinois. It is a free show, craft beer, and me yelling with my voice pinging off giant steel barrels. It'll be quite impressive. If you enjoy a good industrial landscape and a man who's turned his insecurities into something slightly entertaining, I gotta get. We crossed the streams. There we go. It's like Ghostbusters. All right. That's the plugs. This is the show. More importantly, you're watching wrestling. There's a sense of excitement. You can feel it in the air. Is wrestling cool again? If it's cool right now, write it out, everybody. All right, ride it out.
Ride the wave, baby.
Ride the wave, man. And don't get your nitpicker tweezers out. All right, we don't need that. All right, it's fine. It's okay. We can pluck the hairs when we want, but just remember, breathe in. All right, some big things are happening. All right, I want you to breathe because I don't want your body to be overwhelmed by all the pops that are coming out of it. All right, so have a good time, and remember, when watching wrestling, enjoy wrestling.
Have a good night.
See ya.